Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You're Neeru.
Yes, sir.
You're comfortable in English?
Yes, sir.
Will that be your preferred medium for interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Neeru, you must have noticed that we are trying to be as responsible as possible when it comes to COVID, and that's why there is adequate distance between you and us so that you feel safe, and same applies to us. Also, we are wearing mask while we are not speaking.
Yes,
We
sir.
suggest you the same, that if you are comfortable wearing mask and you want to appear with mask, you're allowed to. But if you believe that you're feeling safe and you'll be more comfortable and at ease without mask, then you can even remove mask because there is adequate distance and I'm sure you're feeling safe. What do
Yes,
you
sir.
want to remove it?
Yes, sir.
Please do. So you're comfortable,
Yes,
and
sir.
you yourself, you're not showing any symptoms, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, Neeru. So I think we can start. To begin with, I want you to introduce yourself to the board members in a manner that your caste, your community, your district, these things are not indicated, and still we come to know something about you.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'm a chemistry honors graduate from Hindu College, Delhi University, and then I have pursued my master's in public administration from 𝐈𝐀𝐒. And then, sir, afterwards, very recently, I have cleared UGC, NET and JRF. And my hobby is Hindi poetry writing.
You cleared your UGC JRF in which subject?
Public administration, sir.
Public. Whatever happened to your chemistry?
Sir, it was long left behind.
So
It was in
you have this
2014.
tendency of leaving and dumping things and getting into
No,
new
sir.
things. Otherwise, why would somebody who has cleared JRF in a particular subject, public administration, would try and will travel all the way from almost Delhi to Allahabad to become a babu in the UP bureaucracy? You should actually be trying to become a good academician at some good university.
Sir, firstly, I have started preparing for civil services, and then I have decided to choose optional as public administration. And then in that journey, I have
That's what I'm saying. You are more into washing your footprints and making new prints rather than developing on already existing footprints.
Sir, change is the rule of the world. I can't deny that. So when public administration came into my life and I was feeling more comfortable with that subject, so I decided to pursue my master's, and then I've cleared JRF. So public administration is more.
Okay, let us
known
discuss
to me.
public administration. In the behaviorist school, you generally study both Chester Bernard as well as Simon. And there are many issues where it appears that the Bernard and Simon are on the same page, but there are issues where they kind of disagree. Can you point out where Chester Bernard and Simon are not agreeing when it comes to, say, for example, decision making?
Sir, Herbert Simon talks about scientific decision making, and he also points about that there are limitations to taking a very perfect decision. So where he talks about bounded rationality, while on the other hand, Chester Bernard, Sir, Chester Bernard, he was a great thinker. So he have talked about communication and functions of executive and all, but sorry, sir, I'm not able to point out the exact difference.
No problem. Since you talked about communication, in public administration we generally talk about grapevine. Tell me, what exactly is the use of grapevine when it comes to, or the function of grapevine when it comes to large organizations, especially, say, for example, government organizations?
Sir, grapevine is a form of informal communication in the organization. So when it comes to government organization, grapevine can act as a source through which communication can be.
There are people who believe that the grapevine usually is more of a intelligence gathering mechanism of officers and authorities. Is that true?
Sir, information is power.
So it's all okay to use it in a way it affects the persons of organization, especially their trust?
Sir, grapevine can be used for understanding the behavior of the employees especially the subordinates, and what is going on inside the organization through informal mechanisms, which the superior or the management won't be able to understand or know directly or through formal communication.
Okay, fine, Neeru. Sir. Neeru, what is the relationship between centralization of authority and accountability?
Sir, centralization of authority and accountability.
Means more centralization of authority would lead to more accountability or less accountability?
I don't think so, sir, because if there is more centralization, then the accountability channels will be diminished, which will eventually make the government authoritarian and thus not accountable.
So it is negative related, inversely related.
Yes, sir.
More centralization means less accountability.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is why we advocate for democratization of the process and decentralization of the decision-making process.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In a family setup, decision-making authority is generally vested in Indian setup in male members, and female members are given less authority in decision-making in the family affairs.
Yes, sir.
What are the adverse effects of this setup of decision-making in a family?
Sir, this makes a family setup primarily undemocratic, and thus especially the female members of the family won't be able to project their aspirations with the confidence. This eventually leads to lesser female labor force participation, reducing opportunities for education and health opportunities for women in the family, and also at the national level it impacts the GDP also.
And how it has affected fundamental rights, that means Constitution has given fundamental rights to women members.
Yes, sir.
In last 20 years, how this consciousness of fundamental right has affected the behavioral pattern of women in India?
Sorry, sir, I have not understood.
How the sense of fundamental right among women members has affected their behavior within family setup? Are they still conceding authority of male members, or they are revolting against it?
Sir, many are revolting, others are subconsciously or unknowingly subduing to it.
So, particularly in UP and Rajasthan and Bihar, women are very subdued.
Yes, sir.
And there is domestic violence cases growing.
Yes, sir.
So, how do you explain this? What should be done? What kind of measures should be taken?
Sir, firstly, education is the primary key. With good education and good health.
No, it has been seen that the most educated male members don't see any behavioral change. More the education, more male chauvinism.
Yes, sir, that is also a case. But education of women, if a woman is educated, she becomes the root of the family, and a educated woman will lead to a good health, will be the primary source for good education of her kids. Good education as well as good healthcare, which will definitely improve our indicators like IMR, MMR.
Who is the chairperson of the UP Women Commission?
I am unable to recall, sir. Sorry.
That means education is not sufficient. Sensitivity.
Yes, sir.
To such issues. You are so educated person, you don't know the chairperson of the Women Commission, isn't it? Recently, Supreme Court has said that the contribution of women, homemakers, should be properly accounted, and it should be included in the national income.
Yes, sir.
What could be the challenges in this direction?
Sir, primarily caregiving is seen as an uneconomical activity, and according to the division of labor, it is allocated to the female members of the family, whether daughter or mother. So, if Supreme Court recognizes this, so it will have a positive impact on the society.
But I was talking about the challenges. Once you decided to make an account of the contribution, what could be the challenges in putting the accounts? Sir,
there will be many challenges. Firstly, many of the women won't accept it themselves. They won't. Second will be the challenge of awareness. Third will be attitudinal change that will be required.
Okay, nice, Neeru.
Neeru, you are a student of public administration.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, what role does the Indian President play insofar as creation or abolition of legislative council in a state is concerned? Does he have any role? as such, the President of India?
Sir, Article 169 gives this role to Rajya Sabha to pass a resolution for creation of a legislative council.
Are you sure about this?
Sir,
Okay.
Article
Okay, go ahead.
169.
Go ahead.
Sorry, sir.
Very simple question. Does he have any role? Yes or no?
President, sir, finally when a bill becomes an act, the president has the power to assent it. So, president has a role in assenting every bill.
Even if the matter pertains to creation or abolition of legislative council, the president has any role? How does he come into picture then?
Sorry, sir.
So you're not aware about this. Now tell me, what political developments have taken place in the recent past in Nepal, and what has been the approach of Indian government?
Sir, in the, last year, May, June, a cartographic aggression was seen from the side of Nepal when Kalapani village in Uttarakhand was seen as
I'm
a part
asking
of...
about the political developments which have erupted in the recent past.
In relation to India, sir?
India, definitely India will come in picture because it shares the boundary with India, and India is having diplomatic relations
Okay,
with
sir.
Nepal.
Yes, sir. Sir, primary issue is of constitution in Nepal, which has been, there were issues in the constitution drafted there related to the Terai region people.
The Prime Minister of Nepal has dissolved the lower house there, and this is a big development, and it is being touted as the constitutional coup in Nepal. My question actually was to ask you, what has been the role in so far as this particular and important development is concerned vis-a-vis China? China has immediately sent a delegation, and that delegation was stationed at Nepal and closely monitoring the situation. But India has maintained equidistant from everything that is taking place in the aftermath of this development, and maintaining a silence. It is not saying anything. So that was my question. What should India do? Is India making any mistake in countering China, which is making its footprint everywhere it is finding the opportunity?
Sir, India has been accused of a big brotherly attitude towards Nepal by its own Prime Minister. Ever since 2014, when Nepal saw its regime change, its policy towards India has been different from what it used to be earlier. So the relations were not that good because primarily because of Chinese presence, increasing presence in that area.
Okay, my last question to you. Indian Army has come up with a very innovative idea of recruitment, and that is called tour of duty. Have you come across this phrase, tour of duty?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Sir, please go ahead.
Okay, नीरू,
Yes, sir.
कविताएं लिखती हैं आप हिंदी में?
Yes, sir. कोशिश करती हूँ.
गुड. चलिए, कविताएं तो हिंदी में लिखती होंगी तो थोड़ी बहुत हिंदी आती होगी. ना की 12 खड़ी सुनाइए.
जी
ना
सर.
से नाम है ना आपका? जी
सर.
नीरू, ना की 12 खड़ी सुनाइए.
जी बिल्कुल आइडिया नहीं सर.
12 खड़ी क्या होती है? पहली क्लास पास नहीं की थी आपने? पहली दूसरी क्लास में 12 खड़ी सिखाते हैं.
जी बिल्कुल आइडिया नहीं है सर.
न की 12 खड़ी का मतलब हुआ है कि न पर सारे स्वरों की मात्रा लगाते हुए बताइए. न न नी नी.
ओके सर. ओके. ना ना नी नी नु नो नो नो.
थ्रू.
सर 11 सर.
हो गए 11. व्हाट अबाउट
12
नी
ने
नई
नए.
री? वेयर इज री? ऋषि वाला री.
यस सर.
In the what is the place of re in the alphabets of Hindi? कहाँ आता है?
सर व्यंजन में.
री एक व्यंजन है, ऋषि वाला री
I'm
या
not
स्वर
sure,
है?
sir. I'm not sure.
तो आप बिना हिंदी जाने हिंदी में कविता लिखती हैं?
Sir, when I started writing Hindi poems.
You were writing in Roman?
No sir, I was writing in Hindi only.
So obviously you need to know Hindi. चलिए कोई बात नहीं. ये बताइए कि एक रूपक और एक प्रतीक, एक मेटाफर और एक सिंबल, इनमें क्या अंतर होता है?
मेटाफर एंड
सिंबल. प्रतीक और रूपक, अंग्रेजी में बोले तो मेटाफर यानी रूपक और प्रतीक यानी कि सिंबल, इनमें क्या रिलेशन, क्या डिफरेंस है? नहीं याद आ रहा? आप ये याद करके आई थी कि आपसे कविता कहा जाएगा, सुना दीजिए, और आप कविता सुना देंगी.
No, sir.
That was your idea. Okay, Neeru, it was nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You can go now.
Thank you so much, sir.
Aye, Neeru, take your seat. Yes, tell me, how was it? What are the areas you believe you were okay and where you believe that sir यहाँ मैं अभी थोड़ा improve करूँगी?
Sir, I need better preparation in, I think, all the areas.
Not really. I mean, we enjoyed conversation in general. You are a good candidate. You have a nice background and there is a kind of a diversity in your background. And you are drawing from the diversity. We could not have a good interaction on chemistry, but I'm sure you'll be able to handle that. If not, then maybe brush up it a bit. But in general, it was a good conversation. Your personality is good. Your entry is generally good. I don't want to comment on the dress you're wearing, hoping that you're not wearing it in the final interview. But if you're wearing the same, then...
No, sir, I'm not going to wear this.
So, I'm sure you'll be taking care that it is as formal as possible.
Sir.
And you look good in that. Coming to your communication thing, your entry is good. Sitting posture is good. See, in the entry, we generally advise to start your template of entering from the gate of that room, right? Right from there, you should be in that interview mode. So the moment you are knocking or you're getting into the room, usually the orderly there will let you in. Loudly take permission to enter. Have this template fixed in your mind. And then walk in smartly, stand by your chair, greet the board members. Greet the chair first and the other members in general. And then wait for you being given permission to sit. If you believe that permission is not forthcoming, ask for the permission, right? And then sit down. This is a template you should revise in your mind a number of times so that when it comes to matter, you're not missing any aspect of it, right? But otherwise, generally, you're smartly walking in. Your sitting posture is good. Your voice level is very good. Your vocabulary is strong. In general, there isn't much hand movement, which is good. There is a small hand clasping thing. You clasp your hand rather than placing like this. We generally advise to place like this, not necessarily for some specific reason, but because it appears more relaxed. And it appears more nervous. This is generally the theory why we say generally advise to place your hands like that. Eye contact is generally good. Flow is good. Coming to the specifics, your strength is that you, because of the diverse background or whatever reason, your analytical faculty is good. You are able to analyze things most of the time. And also you're able to have a kind of an organic conversation. You're able to create the backward and forward linkages in the conversation itself with whatever has been discussed and what is being discussed in the future. So that way it is a good conversation and we kind of enjoyed it. So by and large there isn't much issue when it comes to even the verbal communication. It is only the certain areas where you need to brush up, right? Especially the factual aspects of it, and you need to understand that there's an advantage of being a women candidate there. If advantage is that you know that at least some part of the interview will be focused on the issues pertaining to women, right? It's likely. So be better prepared for that,
yes,
right?
Sir.
That is a better way of saying it. And also look at every issue from that angle also. If the issue is not being discussed about women, it is being discussed in general, there also you need to. Other things are generally okay. A strategic advice is that never ever mention that something went wrong starting 2014. You getting my point?
Yes, sir.
You actually said the Indo-Nepal relations start deteriorating with 2014.
Yes,
it may be correct, but it is not very advisable to say 2014 is a deciding line when Modi ji aaye aur sabne sab kuch bigaad diya. Not an advisable thing, at least not in UP,
yes,
right?
Sir,
so you can wash out this 2014 or take it thoda piche ya thoda aage, right? Everything else is good. I'm sure you'll do well. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I was not able to answer any of the questions.
It's not that way. It's not a quiz. It's not a quiz. You don't need to evaluate yourself on the basis of how many questions you answered factually correct or wrong. That's not, for that you have already appeared. The idea is that by asking the question, we are trying to judge certain aspect of your personality. So whether you're allowing board members to look into your personality or not is the thing. Your positive thing about you is you're forthcoming. You are saying what you know, and you're not unnecessarily pushing for things you don't know. That is, don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you.